In the ever-evolving drama of celebrity courtrooms and public scrutiny, two major names are lighting up headlines again: Blake Lively and Candace Owens. The former is facing increasing criticism for what many are calling a bizarre and unnecessary legal strategy involving subpoenas to small YouTube creators, while the latter continues to battle it out in court with her usual unapologetic presence. But in a twist that's leaving Hollywood watchers stunned, Blake Lively has reportedly pulled back from her controversial subpoenas, sparking renewed debate about celebrity influence, PR damage control, and legal overreach. So what really happened? Behind the scenes, why did Blake's team seemingly chicken out and abandon what some are calling sham subpoenas? Was it legal pressure, PR backlash, or a deeper realization that this strategy could severely backfire? And where does Candace Owens stand in her ongoing trial, which is starting to look more intense than ever before? Let's unpack all the latest developments in detail. But first, let's talk about Blake Lively's initial legal move that turned heads across the entertainment world. Her legal team reportedly filed subpoenas aimed at multiple content creators, many of them with small audiences, for discussing or speculating about her role and conduct in the upcoming film adaptation of It Ends With Us, or for simply voicing criticism about her recent public appearances or behind-the-scenes controversies. While subpoenas are part of standard legal procedures in certain cases, what made these particular subpoenas unusual was their targets. Instead of going after major news networks or high-profile influencers, Blake's team seemed to focus on creators with minimal following, some with only a few hundred or even a dozen subscribers. That raised a massive red flag. Critics quickly labeled it as a potential fishing expedition or a move to intimidate smaller voices who couldn't afford legal defense. This strategy backfired spectacularly. Social media erupted with backlash. Support poured in for the YouTubers, with many accusing Blake's team of attempting to silence free speech and set a dangerous precedent. The hashtag #SubpoenaGate began trending. Prominent legal analysts began breaking down the filings, questioning the legal validity and ethics behind them. Amid this growing criticism, something even more surprising happened. Multiple creators reported that the subpoenas were mysteriously dropped, or that the legal pressure had seemingly vanished. Some received emails or communications indicating that Blake's legal team was no longer pursuing those requests. The shift was rapid and unexpected. To many, it appeared that Blake Lively had backed out under public pressure. And here's the twist: despite this dramatic reversal, there's been no official statement from Blake's camp. No explanation, no clarification, just silence. And in the world of Hollywood, silence can say a lot more than words. It can suggest that a strategy didn't go as planned. It can signal that reputational damage was more than anticipated. Or it can mean that someone somewhere told the team to retreat before things spiraled further out of control. Meanwhile, in another courtroom making headlines, Candace Owens is deep into a legal battle of her own. But unlike Blake's situation, Owens is not backing down. She's taking her fight straight into the spotlight as always. From heated courtroom exchanges to viral social media commentary, Candace is leaning into the moment. Her trial is drawing attention not just from political circles but from Hollywood, YouTube, and even late-night TV hosts who are watching how this all unfolds. The juxtaposition couldn't be more dramatic. On one hand, you have a Hollywood star seemingly retreating from a controversial legal plan. On the other, a conservative commentator boldly stepping into legal fire with no sign of slowing down. But there's more to this story, a lot more. Let's break it all down. When news first broke that Blake Lively's legal team had served subpoenas to a handful of YouTubers and small content creators, many were confused. Why would a major Hollywood star go after creators with tiny platforms? At first glance, it looked like a classic overreaction. But as the documents were examined more closely, legal experts noted that these were not standard defamation claims or privacy disputes. Instead, they were requests for internal communications, email exchanges, and IP addresses. This raised alarm bells. What exactly was Blake's team trying to find? Was this about locating a leaker within her film production team? Was it about controlling the narrative surrounding It Ends With Us, a film that already has mixed buzz online due to casting criticism and leaked photos? Or was it something deeper, an attempt to monitor public opinion and squash any form of speculation, even from fans? Whatever the intent, the response was swift and largely negative. Creators shared their shock and fear online. Some said they felt targeted, others said they were confused about what they had even done. Legal commentary started to dominate Twitter threads. First Amendment advocates began raising the issue as a potential freedom of speech violation. Then the tide turned. In what appeared to be a stunning reversal, many of those creators began reporting that their subpoenas were either withdrawn or quietly allowed to expire without further action. Some even received direct communication that the legal team had decided not to pursue the matter further, and still no public response or press release from Blake or her representatives. What changed? Insiders speculate that Blake's PR team realized the cost of public backlash far outweighed any legal benefit the subpoenas might have brought. The optics of a multi-millionaire actress targeting everyday people with legal actions simply did no play well in the court of public opinion, especially considering the fact that some of these creators were women, minorities, and working-class individuals who lacked access to legal resources. The imbalance of power was glaring. It didn't help that several YouTubers received vocal support from legal commentators, fellow influencers, and even lawyers offering pro bono help. The narrative shifted quickly. Blake was no longer the victim of rumors or bad press. She was being painted as a powerful figure trying to silence the little guy. In the world of celebrity image management, this is a nightmare scenario. No matter how right your legal case might be, if you come off looking like a bully, you lose. It's that simple. That may be why her team pulled the plug. Whether they underestimated the backlash or simply made a miscalculation, the end result was clear. Blake Lively's subpoena strategy had failed, but as one chapter closes, another is heating up. Across the courtroom landscape, Candace Owens' defamation trial is heading into a more serious phase. Known for her bold statements and media presence, Owens is not one to shy away from controversy, and this case is no different. Unlike Blake's behind-the-scenes strategy, Candace is embracing the public eye using social media and news coverage to her advantage. The trial centers on statements Owens allegedly made about a public figure and whether those statements crossed the legal line into defamation. Her legal team is presenting a defense rooted in opinion and First Amendment rights, while the plaintiff is arguing that real harm was done to their reputation, career, and personal well-being. What makes this trial especially gripping is the real-time nature of updates. Owens has been tweeting about the trial proceedings, providing her own perspective, and even calling out what she sees as hypocrisy or bias in coverage. Whether this strategy will help or hurt her case is up for debate, but one thing is clear: Candace is not retreating. Legal analysts are watching this closely, noting that the outcome of this case could have ripple effects for how public figures engage in political discourse and what lines they must not cross. It's more than just a celebrity drama, it's a potential landmark for digital speech and influencer accountability. As of now, the trial is ongoing with new witnesses expected to take the stand in the coming weeks. The legal tension is rising. Will Owens emerge vindicated, or will the court find that her statements went too far? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: she's not backing down. In a span of just a few weeks, we've witnessed two radically different approaches to public scrutiny and legal action. On one side, Blake Lively, known for her poised red carpet appearances and controlled public image, tried to manage the narrative through legal force, but the strategy misfired. Her subpoena plan, whether well-intentioned or not, was perceived as a misuse of legal power. The backlash was fierce, the retreat was quiet, and the damage, at least reputationally, might linger for a while. On the other side stands Candace Owens, unfiltered and fiercely vocal. Her legal battle continues with no sign of softening her stance. Whether her approach will ultimately benefit her in court is uncertain, but she's chosen the spotlight instead of the shadows. She's leaning into the storm. Both stories, though different in nature, shine a light on a growing tension between public figures, the media, and the evolving role of digital voices. The lines between criticism, speculation, and defamation are becoming blurrier, and in this complex web, legal strategies must now compete with public perception and platforms that move faster than any courtroom. So what's the takeaway in today's world? Power doesn't just lie in legal documents or courtroom victories, it lies in the narrative, in how the public sees you, talks about you, and stands by or against you. Whether you're Blake Lively or Candace Owens, the game has changed. As we reach the end of this unfolding narrative, the events surrounding Blake Lively's now abandoned subpoenas and the intensifying trial of Candace Owens offer more than just celebrity drama. They present a window into the shifting dynamics of influence, accountability, and digital discourse in today's hyper-connected world. Blake Lively, often regarded as a polished, graceful Hollywood figure, found herself at the center of a storm few anticipated. Her attempt, whether strategic, reactionary, or driven by a team of advisors, to issue subpoenas against small YouTubers stirred public attention for all the wrong reasons. It wasn't just the legal implications that caught the public's eye. It was the imbalance of power, the sense that a global star was leveraging the weight of her celebrity status and legal muscle against creators with little to no platform for defense. And that's where the real friction started. In the past, such moves might have gone unnoticed. Legal intimidation, PR-driven silence, or quiet settlements would have buried the issue. But today we live in a different reality. Social media, decentralized platforms, and the rise of independent voices have reshaped how stories unfold. People no longer wait for press conferences or exclusive interviews. Information travels instantly, and narratives are shaped by viewers, not just publicists. What Blake's team underestimated wasn't just the speed of social reaction, but the values of the audience watching. The public is increasingly sensitive to issues of fairness, censorship, and free expression, so when content creators, many of them women, marginalized voices, or simply passionate film fans, started receiving subpoenas for speaking their mind or speculating on film production gossip, the audience didn't hesitate. They spoke up, they rallied, they questioned the motives, the ethics, and the timing. And when Blake's legal team quietly backed down, the internet took that as confirmation. This strategy was never meant to win a case, it was meant to silence. Whether that's true or not is beside the point now. In the public arena, perception becomes reality. And Blake Lively, for the first time in a long while, found herself on the wrong side of the narrative. No matter how well-intentioned or justified the legal action may have been in private discussions, the court of public opinion made its judgment swiftly and loudly. But the story doesn't end with retreat, it continues with reflection. Blake has an opportunity to course-correct, not through silence but transparency. If her team was targeting legitimate misinformation or harassment, say so. If this was a case of miscommunication or legal overreach, acknowledge it. The audience respects honesty far more than polished silence. Redemption in the digital age is possible, but it starts with humility. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Candace Owens, a figure whose entire brand is built on confrontation, unfiltered opinions, and unapologetic expression. Her defamation trial represents a different kind of legal crossroads. Unlike Blake, Candace isn't pulling back. She's pushing forward, standing by her words and using every tool at her disposal to shape her defense. Whether you agree with her or not, her stance is undeniably clear. She believes in her right to speak, and she's willing to defend it in court. What makes the contrast between Blake and Candace so fascinating is not just their personalities, but how they approach crisis. Blake tried to manage hers quietly behind legal walls and through controlled PR efforts. Candace is fighting hers in the open, with cameras rolling, headlines printing, and Twitter feeds updating by the hour. Both approaches come with risks. For Blake, silence has led to confusion and backlash. For Candace, openness invites scrutiny, missteps, and potential courtroom consequences. But both stories reflect a larger issue: the delicate balance between public image, legal accountability, and the evolving power of digital voices. Creators, influencers, journalists, and fans alike are no longer bystanders in celebrity culture. They are participants, commentators, and sometimes even targets. When a Hollywood star sends a subpoena to a YouTuber with 300 subscribers, it sends a message not just about legality but about who gets to speak and who doesn't. And that's a conversation that resonates far beyond celebrity circles. In many ways, this chapter of Blake Lively's career will serve as a case study, not in legal missteps necessarily, but in how the entertainment world must adapt to modern standards of accountability. Gone are the days when stars could control their public image through a few strategic interviews and a well-lit red carpet. Today, the audience demands more honesty, more humility, and more fairness. Meanwhile, the outcome of Candace Owens' trial could set new precedents for digital speech. How far can opinion go before it becomes defamation? How does the legal system adapt to a world where everyone is a broadcaster? And how should influencers, media personalities, and even celebrities protect their reputations without infringing on the rights of others? These are not easy questions, and they don't have simple answers. But what's clear is this: we're entering an era where the public has more power than ever. Creators who once had no voice now command platforms that rival traditional media. Fans who were once passive consumers now shape public perception. And celebrities who once stood untouchable now face real accountability, not just from lawyers, but from the people who follow, support, and critique them every day. As this story continues to unfold, the most important takeaway might not be about Blake's legal reversal or Candace's courtroom resilience. It might be about the changing nature of power. No longer is power held solely by the famous or the wealthy. It now lives in the hands of the audience, the collective voice of millions who expect authenticity, fairness, and the freedom to speak their truth. Whether you're a Hollywood actor, a political commentator, or a content creator on the rise, one thing is certain: you are not immune to public scrutiny. And in a world where every action can spark a conversation, the wisest move is not to silence others, but to listen. Blake Lively now faces a choice. Will she stay silent and hope the backlash fades away, or will she address the issue with openness, And humility. Candace Owens, for her part, is already deep into her legal defense and appears committed to seeing it through, win or lose. Time will reveal the full impact of these cases. But for now, the message is loud and clear: the world is watching, the audience is speaking, and silence no longer guarantees safety. This isn't just celebrity drama. It's a glimpse into the future of influence, speech, and justice in a digital world that never sleeps.